A bit your compost.
Compost.
Yeah.
Ooh. Do we have
quickly.
Do we have 3 hours?
Oh yeah, I know.
3 minutes.
Just 3 minutes, but.
Oh no, make it quick. I think the best bet is to perhaps actually have a look in the paddock.
Have you put compost in every vines?
Yeah, I think if we have a look here, perhaps a little bit. No, we can't even see because it's all been worked in. Is it from this area here right through the area to the next row and through to the other side is where we spread the compost every May. Mm-hmm. And then we go through with a set of discs or a dual sets of ploughs and turn the soil over, as you can see in here, where we've turned the soil to protect that compost. And so we're already making now compost for next May, and that's made up of the various marc coming up from the winery. Mm-hmm. Anything that we can gather with straw and various herbs and things from around the vineyard, we can also gather up various allotments of cardboard and anything that we can utilise. The staff we try and encourage to make sure that we keep any leftover food and everything that comes through that can all be then incorporated into the compost. And this row that we're standing in becomes an access row, so this is where we do all our vineyard work. So if we're pruning and making our selection, all the prunings will go into this row. If we need to drive a tractor, we'll do it up and down this row. So the other row is very much kept as a protective row for the compost. Or if we have a look just here, you'll see some a little bit of brassica that's growing, and in this case it's kale. And throughout the summertime we drill things like buckwheat and phacelia to obviously attract little parasitic wasps, and those parasitic wasps end up laying their eggs inside unwanted leaf roller larvae to act as a natural control. Mm-hmm. And then in the springtime we also have flower species in here. In this case it's as I said before, it's kale and radish will come away and create that flowering species. So simplistically, yeah, that's it. Compost in one row, grass in another, perhaps a flowering row every 10 rows. The row that we've composted into, we then drill into things like triticale and peas. It's good here to see that there's some remains of some pea species that have been growing last year and have been turned in. I also see, which is really quite exciting in here, is some nice yarrow as a herb growing in here as well. This is really good at being able to help work with things like potassium underneath the vines as well. Mm-hmm. And obviously has a very key role within the vineyard. So yeah, it's I think that what we're not all about is having everything so barren that you need to have the plants to be able to cycle and to, as we turn them over and get them to break down, then we've got that natural, almost like a natural compost within the vineyard without even having to keep bringing all the compost in. Perhaps when we first started looking at compost a few years ago, we were thinking we were going to need to make hundreds of tons to feed the soil. Now what we've really found is that it's more now about growing very good compost that's very high in microbial activity for fungi and bacteria, so that we're not in a situation where we're trying to look at huge nitrogen inputs, because you can see in here that the amount of cane growth and that we can achieve and the strength of those canes is sufficient, that all we're really wanting to try and do is make sure that the soil is being kept very healthy, and hopefully lead to healthy grapes and healthy wine. So the production this year was 180 tonnes. So we tend to vary around about sort of 150 to 180 tonnes, something close to that. Yeah. And that's a split between obviously Pinot Noir, Riesling and Chardonnay. A couple of free cases of each of the various individual wines, so that we do have a small amount of library stock. So we're not yet in a position, or we don't feel we need to make a wine and say, look, it's not good enough and it has to be stored for 5 years before we sell it. Everything we make is moved into the marketplace, and we just keep one or two wines for our own purpose, to be able to look at them age and develop, and this is what the little library stock is for.
And do you make like something on your website to say it's better to drink now? Or?
Yeah, we obviously have a little indication. I don't know if you have a look at the Felton Road website, we use a bottle. Yeah. So what we try and do is to say whether it should be kept, whether it's getting close, or as it moves upside down, it needs to be drunk now. So that's the influence there.
Okay.
But yeah, that's it. So just rack them up and
you seal just with screw cap now?
Yeah, now we do. That's just been an evolution, really, with knowing that we just weren't getting continual good quality corks down here, and the freshness and the expression that we're seeing with the Stelvin and the guarantee that the wine that we make and the wine that we believe and put all our energy into is what's now finished in the bottle, and we're not having, unfortunately, a form of closure that's actually affecting that. So it's not a negative cork issue. It is because the cork is just not good enough.
Yeah. Okay.
That's it.